אם יש לי דברים שאני צריך, אני בודק. אתה יודע, אם יש איזה משהו שאני רוצה... אני רושם לי. before, כן.
אייזנר!
יש לך את הלינק לשלוח לו?
יש לי את הערוץ של יהודה.
אז בוא תיתן לי משהו, כי אני רוצה לשלוח את זה. כן, שלח לי את זה בלינק. יופי.
הנה.
נהדר, נכון.
הנה יש. בוא, נתק את זה. שומעים הכל.
אחד. ילד רע. אחד. ילד רע. זה עובד, אבל יש לזה רעשים. טענתי אותה כל הלילה. לא. היי.
let's start with the homework. Do you have the questions? Amitai, did you prepare the homework? Why? What? Oh, your father didn't help you. Let's first see the homework. The questions for review. Did you do it? How many questions do we have? 6. Six questions. A question is a female in Hebrew. A question is a lack. I said it only to get you a little bit upset. The first question was on page 19. And we asked, how can we understand the root of all the faults are in the thought of creation? Who would like to answer? Okay, let's answer them briefly. Asaf, do you want to answer them? We learned the root of all the faults are in its root is in the desire to receive. The thought of creation, what is that? To benefit his creature, to delight his creature. So the benefit for the creatures, that means we actually need to have someone who will receive that benefit. Yeah? By the actual virtue of the desire to receive, we already have the desire to bestow. The idea of impurity did not come against the idea of purity, but in order to allow for idea of purity to practice, for idea of impurity to practice. And that's why they came out one against the other, to challenge and to be able to attain themselves from within, starting from the outside in order to attain the internal thing. Meaning that idea of impurity are from the outside, and they challenge the internal discernment. In the preface to Panim Yerotim Magdirot, he explains further and says that the purity and impurity divided in such a way that the big desire was given to the impurity in order so one can attain the big desire only when the time is right, in due time. But in the meantime, the impurity holds the desire, and gradually we take the desire and we act it in holiness or in purity. The third question, how is impurity defined? The form in order to receive. That's how the klipa, the shell, is defined. And the same thing is with impurity. When there's an actual desire in order to receive, then it's impurity. The purity is in order to bestow. And we saw that there are types of desires that are the desire to receive in order to bestow. And the desire to receive, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. That's the creation. But the ability to receive in the correct fashion, it's only if we change the form. That the form will be, as we said, in order to bestow. Why are the wicked called dead in their lives? That's the fourth question. Because they enjoy the desire to receive for themselves alone, and in this way, they disconnect from the life of lives. Their lives, meaning in their joy, in their pleasure. If they enjoy, if they derive pleasure from the klipa, we also see that when a person enjoys something which is not real, it causes him later, it doesn't allow him to enjoy the real things. Even if he enjoys them, he can't. Therefore, they kill themselves, they deceive themselves, the wicked, when they enjoy. Not every pleasure is necessarily correct, only if it's a pleasure that is real. Therefore, we check our pleasure according to the desire, according to the form of the desire. If the form is in order to bestow, then the pleasure is real, and if the form is not in order to bestow, rather in order to receive, then the desire is not real. So why are the wicked called dead in their lives? Oh, we answered that. Is it worthy to do an action without an intention? If it's a real action, then we automatically have the right intention. We saw three types of actions. We have actions with an intention which is malicious. So this is not recommended to do in such a state. Like studying Torah, but in order to use the Torah as a means, like as an axe, in order to get people upset. And there are mitzvot that we do with no intention at all. And it's better to do them rather, because mitzvot that have no intention, they already have embedded within them an intention. So even though it only gives a little bit of livelihood, it's called kista de chayuta, only covers a little bit of the livelihood. Therefore, it's good to do these actions, even if it only gives that little bit of livelihood. Of course, there are actions which with the worthy intention, and these are the best actions that exist. And then, granted, it's better to do the action. Meaning, an action without an intention is good to do. Intention with an action with a bad intention, with a malicious intention, it's not a good thing to do. And the best thing is to do an action with the correct form, with the correct intention. How can we be connected to His holiness? That's the fifth question. It says Amiatem in Hebrew, which means not my nation, but rather with me. Ami means both nation and with me in Hebrew. So the common place where we connect with the Creator, this is the real place. Because complete, utter love is not correct, because we need the combination of the creature in order to reach love. We can't have only one side loving where the other side has not prepared itself to love. We need to prepare ourselves to love. How do we do that? How? We let go of the ego and we act for the togetherness. Only after we're willing to let go and concede our pride, then we can see the isle, the deer that Abram saw. And then we need to come to the place which is common. But we need to think from the perspective of our ideals. What is our ideal? And when a person acts in such a manner, it becomes a partner with the Creator. And that's what it's called, imi. You are in partnership. Imi, like ami. So we reached letter 18. Any questions thus far? In the answer to one of the questions, he said that we disconnect from the klipa, from the shell. We disconnect from the holiness if we enjoy the klipa. All the reality is included existence out of existence, and only the desire to receive, only it is renewed, and it is existence out of absence. Know that the entire existence from absence, there's nothing that does not exist in the creation. Rather, everything is already embedded in the original creation. Everything is there. And from there, we don't need a new creation. It's extended existence out of existence. And it's extended existence out of existence from his essence, meaning that the creator created the creation already in the thought of creation. And many times people, when they read the book of Genesis, Bereshit, they think that when it says that in the beginning the creator created the earth, the heaven and the earth, is that actually the creation? Where would he said that there's a creation in the Ein Sof? That means thus that, so what is the creation that it speaks of in the in the book of Bereshit? So why is that called the world of Bria and not the Ein Sof called the world of Bria? The answer is that it is a root. In Bereshit, they only explain us a little bit of what we can perceive as a creation. By the way, it's good to know that even in Bereshit, the creation that is spoken of, it's also in potential. It's not the actual creation, meaning in corporeality, as we see here, that only after the sin of Adam Rishon, the first man, and that's when we start counting the days and the time. So we have to remember the creation existing out of existence, or existing out of absence, comes from the thought of creation. So letter 18. Know that the existence from absence, innovation, that the creator invented in this creation, which our sages said, he generated existence from absence. And everything else that you find in the creation, it's perhaps things that if there's no desire to receive, there's no creation. Like what? Pleasure. The pleasure has another side, apart from the side of creation. It has the side of the light. We're speaking of the expansion of the light, and it comes existence out of existence, and only the desire to receive is expanded by way of existence out of absence. Okay. Therefore, the creation goes through a certain explanation by Bala Sulam through by way of the person's mental. There's a very important. Why is it important that it's through a person's soul? Because a person's soul is the one that actually perceives the creation, and we speak from the person's perception, not from the creation itself. We speak from the perception of the person of the creation, because we do not perceive anything outside of ourselves. Rather, everything we perceive within us. And if we perceive everything within us, then we speak only from something, only of something that's within us. And if we perceive from the understanding, from our understanding, then it speaks through a person's understanding. And therefore, he calls it a desire to enjoy that is embedded in each creature, meaning there are two. A creature wants to be happy. There's no person that acts against his own pleasure. If you'll research and see each one of your actions, you'll see that it actually is for you to be happy. Granted, we can want this desire to have a place somewhere later, and perhaps we are willing to let go of it, in order to enjoy it later in the future. We can conceal it and do other things. Only from the knowledge, the understanding that we have that we're acting something valuable, but that needs to come with consciousness. But when we really research internally, what is it that actually triggered us? And we'll see that it was a desire to enjoy. There's another part in us, as the Rambam says in Ilchot Shuvah, chapter 10. Why should we act the truth? He says because it is the truth, not because it's going to make you happy. That's because we need to concede, let go of our desire to enjoy when it comes with the form in order to receive. But to enjoy is not something that is prohibited. We actually need to enjoy, but only under the condition that it's in the real form. If it's in a form which is unreal, then it's something which is not real, and its form is not correct. But not everything that we have in creation is in order to enjoy. Like what? Let's say people who have garbage and they have to throw things to the garbage. Is it pleasure for them? Are you complaining that you're asked to throw the garbage? No, but it's not something people like. So why don't they leave it at home? The garbage. To enjoy. But if it wasn't there at all, well, you're saying if there wasn't garbage at all, huh? Are they enjoying? If they see something which is a perfection of the home, the fact that they want to take the garbage out, then they're happy that they're doing something good. And there's nothing in creation that people do not enjoy. There's nothing that doesn't have the potential to bring pleasure to people. There are things that people really do not enjoy them. But a person needs to learn how everything that the Creator created is a part within the overall pleasure. And when do we not enjoy? For example, when a person is hurt, is injured in a car accident, and he has some kind of injury in his body, so it doesn't give him pleasure in his body, but does it come for his good or for his bad? How do you know that it comes for his benefit? Because that's how I don't know how to say it, because that's what the Creator did. And if that's what the Creator did, that's for his own good. Because if the Creator did and does and will do all the actions, so that means it does good. But we don't exactly know what it is and how it is that is good. We don't know how to explain everything. But the Creator is not confused. He knows what he's doing. Yes, please. Rav, I think that there is actually something based on what I see that you can say that you do not enjoy it. Well, of course, there are many things. I mean that what you said about that. לא שומע? לא שומע? He doesn't have pleasure, he just doesn't want to do work. What do you mean he doesn't want to do work? Because he enjoys the rest. He enjoys this nothingness. That's that one specific example I did not understand. Okay, please. I remember that we mentioned that there are people who do things that are not good for them, not only in their subconsciousness. Well, that's true, because they do that because they understand that further down the line, they will enjoy it. I'm sorry, what? That they know, people that know that they go against the path they need to go through, not necessarily that they will enjoy something in the long term. And There are people who do something for short term because they enjoy it now. And if they know that they're not going to enjoy it, they don't do it because they want the pleasure right now, immediately. There is a mom that screams at her children because she wants to teach them, and it's repetitive. It's some sort of an instinct, perhaps, that she cannot control. There are actions that we do against ourselves because we do not control ourselves. But these actions are because the klipot are guiding us. But from the part of the truth, it's not that we do it. We do them because we are in a reality, a mental reality. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. What sometimes? When we are aware and we still act that reality that or these processes that we know that are not good for us. So what is the question? So why? Why do we act this way? Because it gives us pleasure for that immediate moment. For example, a person scratches his wound. He enjoys it even though he knows that he's going to suffer later, but now he wants to enjoy. It's very simple, it's not complicated. So he says, it's not innovated, that this is the secret of creating light and or forming light and creating darkness, because the light comes in the form of forming something, yetzirah, but the darkness comes in by way of creation. Like the Ramban actually explained that the word boeh comes on innovation, something that did not exist and suddenly it is. That's called an innovation. Darkness is not the lack of light. Choshech is a new creation that when it's filled in light, that it's filled in light and we don't see, when it's filled in light we don't see the darkness, but we do not want to expel the darkness, we want to use the darkness. Remember how the Greek sing in Hanukkah? We came to expel the darkness. I said that the darkness, what? No. We, darkness is a good thing. The Jews in the Makat Choshech in Egypt, when there was the blow of darkness, they did not suffer from that because whoever chases the light, whoever chases the darkness, he doesn't. A person uses it as a raw material, the darkness, as a raw material in order to do the reflected light. So we came to use the darkness, and we have in our hands a masach, a screen, and light or fire. מסך ואש. זה עוד פעם נקטע, אני לא יכול ככה, זה קשה. אני לא יודע מה קורה, הוא מתחיל משפט, אני שומע משהו, אני לא יודע אם אני אומר אפילו נכון, מה שקורה שם. כן. לא, אנחנו צריכים למצוא פתרון. The pleasure which we define as light, meaning that it already includes, so there's nothing innovated in it, and all the knowledge in the world, and that's why it said creates light, to show that there's nothing innovated in it. But on the darkness, which includes all the understandings and the conceptions that are not pleasant, that's what it says on Borei Choshech, creates darkness. Because these lacks, לא, אני לא יכול ככה, אי אפשר ככה, לא.